Welcome to Lake Myers RV Resort in North Carolina. This is 1,000 Trails Encore Park. If you've already been here, then you know. If you haven't been here yet, then let us tell you, don't come. Today we'll share this review with you and tell you why we do not like this park. Welcome to Lake Myers RV Camping Resort. This resort is located in Mottsville, North Carolina. As you can see below down here in the bottom right hand corner, I have the basic park information for you. This park is open year-round. You have the ranger station number down here, and the number of sites available here are 444. This is a trails collection for 1,000 Trails, so this is actually an Encore park, not a true 1,000 Trails. I'm not going to go deep into the map because on this one, big advice I'm going to give you is unless you like to go to a party campground, don't go here. We stayed here for about a week and would have left sooner if we could have. This was not our kind of campground. It is about 90% permanent residents, so there's probably about 40 to maybe 50 sites available for transient people moving through the area. It just was not our kind of campground. It's very ran down. So the things I will show you that I will also talk about in the video, but it's easy to see on the map. If you do come here, you're going to see right here at the entrance a sign that actually has Lake Myers RV Resort on it. You want to make sure you turn in here. If you turn in out the exit way, there's really nowhere to turn back around, so it gets kind of hard. So you want to make sure that you come in the main entrance. It's gated, and then the ones that you are in, you want to make sure that you follow the road signs correctly. There's a lot of 2-lane roads. There's also some 1-lane roads, but all the roads are pretty narrow. So it's pretty tight driving all the way through the park. And basically, you've got the activity area here, which is in the it's centrally located in the park. And it is a pretty nice area. I'm not going to say too much bad about it, but this is kind of where all the activities take place. You'll see more of that in the video as well, but there's pools. The pools are kept pretty dirty, so I would not advise swimming in them. They do have a restaurant on site right here in this area. It's where the game room is. The game room was closed when we were there for whatever reason. Everything else was open. The restaurant that is there actually does serve pretty good food, but basically your whole front section, you will not be able to get any lakeside kind of sites or anything like that. Everything up here is all full-time residents. Basically the whole front section that you will see me circle here is all full-time. And we were actually in B34 right here, and this area is now starting to turn into pretty much permanent residence. The biggest area for people who are going in and out is back here in the overflow parking area, which is also pretty much the only area that you can get 50 amp hookup. Everything else is 30. So, and then a lot of this back here is full-time people as well, or permanent residents. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's just not a very well ran park. There's no manager on site. My advice to you is maybe for an overnight stay would be okay, but if you're going for any kind of long-term stay, just don't go here. There's other 1,000 Trails directly in the area that are a whole lot nicer, within 30 minutes to an hour either way. So now we'll get onto the video. I'll show you the review and let you come up with your own opinions about this park, but you know ours. So when you come to this park, you're going to make sure you see this sign right here. Whether you're coming right or left, this is where you're going to want to turn in at. There is a secondary road which is back behind it just a little bit, and if you go down that road, it is actually taking you to the exit of the park, and there's really nowhere to turn around if you're in a bigger RV, so that can be a problem. So this is when you come into the main entrance, and the start of this park is actually really nice. So I really like this rock that they got painted right out front here, and I'm sorry for the road noise. You'll hear that just where I'm right here near the main road. And you will have, as you come in, a guest check-in to the left, and then an annual check-in to the right. If you have a late night check-in, they've actually got a box here for that as well, so you will just get your information out of there and go into the park. They have this cabin over here, but it is no longer in use. It used to be the check-in office, but it is not there now, so that is just an older cabin that's breaking down. Here is the Keyco pad. It'll lift this gate up, and then you're into the park. So this area here used to be the tent area. From my understanding, they are no longer allowing tents in the area, and this house you see back here is actually a private residence. So here's your first view of the lake, and as you look over, you can actually see there is a lot of ducks here in the area. Several more geese down that way. The ducks are kind of running from me, but what I wanted to show you also was they have this old water mill, and you will see videos of it running on their website, but this thing hasn't ran in quite a long time. but it is pretty cool just to kind of come and look at. All right, so we're getting deeper into the park here from the entrance. One of the things I will say is to be very careful if you're in any kind of a big rig, or if you're pulling a lot of rig behind you. These roads are very, very narrow. As you can see here, they kind of made a dip in across the bridge. And as we start to get into this park, I will tell you, one of the things that really turned us off to this park that we figured out real quick was it is more than 90% permanent residents. So it is, you got that permanent resident look for sure. So here you see the other half of the pond. And again, you see some pretty ducks there. This is the 400-foot water slides that they talk about if you go to their website. As you can see, these have not been used in quite a while. Would have been cool to try them out, but obviously no way to try them out. And as you can see, when you first come into the park, here is the other side of the pond. And as you can see, just right off the get-go, all this is permanent residence at the front of the park. So there is no lake sites that you can get or anything like that. Anything you're going to get is going to be deeper into the park as we pass through. They do have a pretty dock area right here on the front side of the lake, or on the back side of the lake, I should say, that you can come down and release your kayaks from, or whatever you want to do to actually go out onto the water. So that part is pretty cool. And you can also do fishing from here as well. It's all catch and release, but you can do fishing from here. So this here is what they call the original section. And as you can see, this is all full-timers. And then this section over here gets into section A. And as you can see again, all the way down the road, it is all full-timers. And then back here, they have these villas. And by full-timers, I mean permanent residents. So they do have the villas on the back side that people can rent and use. And they've got a little playground, if you can see it, for the villas right back there. So as you come up the hill from the water, you will see your propane fill-up station. And here is your main office. This is where you go into to get all your information when you're checking in. And this is something that the park has that I do really like. So it's got a tribute to law enforcement, firefighter, and EMS. So all of our first responders. And then when you move over here to the right side of it, they've also got U.S. Army, Coast Guard, U.S. Marines, Air Force, and Navy. So I thought that was really, really cool, and flags to represent each one. So here's one of your first dog walk areas, which is a pretty nice area to take your dogs to. And they also do have a dog park, which I will show you a little bit later in this video. And they do have a fairly nice horseshoe area. It's all covered up, so that looks pretty good. And more towards the center of the park, this is where you find the main activity areas at. So they have this big meeting area. They have like different things here at night, karaoke, whatever the case may be. You got your pools over here. They got kiddie pools in the back. More adult pools here with kiddie pool, walk-in areas. One of the things that I have been forewarned about here is they don't clean the pools until somebody complains. So we have not gotten into the pools, which we typically don't anyway. They do have a diner on site. It's open on Saturday and Sunday. That is located here. I did eat there this morning, fairly good food. And something that is not open right now due to the current situation is the game room. So everything else is open here, but not this. Don't make a lot of sense, but it looks like a pretty cool game room. And here's a playground that they have. And here's another pool. I think this one's more, I would say more adult, but it looks about the same as the one at the bottom. And they have a basketball goal there. Kind of a bent rim, but looks fun. Swing sets. And here we have their mini golf course. And this one is actually maintained a little bit better than most styles and trails. Again, this is an Encore park. As you can see, not too bad. Needs a little bit of cleanup, but not as bad as some I've shown. Alright, so here you have our campsite, which isn't too bad. It was a little hard to level up here just because it kind of drops off in the back. But we got plenty of room, plenty of parking, so you can kind of see the drop off back here pretty good. But one question I do have for everybody, so we do have full hookups here, sort of. So you can see our power water set up, and the power and water is real low to the ground. I'm not a big fan of that. Most of the sites here are like that. But on our sewer hookup, so the sewer runs down, runs into basically a plastic bucket. And then what they have to do, you got 250 gallons, I think is what they told me in here. And then they pull this right here up, the little thingamabob there, a concrete piece. More or less they have to bring a septic truck around and drain this back out. It's kind of a wild process. I had never seen that before. I had a few other people tell me that they had seen that before, so I'm curious to see if any of you all have seen that. It was new to me. So not a big deal, but new to me. But that is our campsite in a nutshell. And like I say, not too bad, a little unlevel, but we were able to get it done by using by manually leveling the RV versus using the auto level. So I just wanted to play this audio here, but this is about 4:30 on a Thursday afternoon at Lake Myers RV Resort, and this is the sound that you get to hear. So here's your dumpsters, what they call the dump, or your overflow area, which is back here. And basically back here is where they put you if you want 50 amp. Most of this park is 30 amp power. So these back here in the overflow are 50 amp power though. And then they got these big trash bins over here that you can throw stuff away, and RV storage is back here as well. So this is one of the upper sections. And as you can see, just a lot of permanent residents still. So here's where you exit the park at. And there's one way in, one way out. You exit at the top of the park and you enter at the bottom. They have another little pond up here, kind of grown over, but occasionally you can see some turtles and frogs and stuff in that. And here is the dog park. When we initially arrived, the grass was actually pretty much almost up to the top of the fence, and Jessica, being who she is, went down and complained and got them to actually cut this grass. So this has been cut since we're here, but this is the dog park, and once the grass is cut, it was really nice. So the dogs have enjoyed it. And here's the laundry room that they have on site. As you can see, the dryers here are $1.50. They do take credit cards, so that is a plus with them being no change right now. They have 3 units here, and the washers come in at $1.75. And again, these take credit cards as well. And they have 3 of those. And here's one of the men's change shops. There's a scary figure in the mirror. So pretty standard. The showers, I'm not a big fan of. I don't know how well that shows up, but you can see they are pretty dirty. So, not a big fan of that, but thought I would show you that as well. It's just another piece of the campground that they've let run down. I wanted to walk you through one of the upper areas too, just to kind of show more of the permanent residents. This one up here is not as bad though. These people seem to take better care. As best as we can tell, there's probably roughly anywhere between 30 and 40 spots for people just passing through, and the rest of this are permanent residents. And not that we have a problem with that, but when the permanent residents don't take care of it, kind of like that one, you tend to get a lot of noise and a lot of partying. And that's what we have seen a lot up here. And there is no management on staff. This is ran by a company out of Chicago, and basically they just hire a couple of young people, let them run and go.